Greetings, fellow speculators. There's a little prospective company that I like to follow called Far Limited. It's not so small anymore. I keep calling it a small company because it used to trade for about 4 cents. Went to about 15 cents off this discovery they made offshore Senegal. Found a bunch of oil, used partners' money to test their theories. That's what I love. That's why I like watching this company. I like to see companies do that, follow that strategy. So now they've made the find and they're trading at just under 10 cents. They've come back down some. And I'm looking at news releases, and they got this presentation that Cairn Energy just put out. Cairn Energy is a partner on the discoveries that they made offshore Senegal. Cairn was the first one to come in and say, we like the work you're doing. We want to put up our money and our expertise to operate your projects, test them, and see if they're going to work. After Cairn put up their money, they got ConocoPhillips to come in not too much later and put up a whack load more money, disproportionate amount of money, to not only drill one well like Cairn was thinking, but expand the drill program to 2 wells, to go drill 2 wells offshore Senegal and see if that makes a even larger chance of finding oil. So that timeline went through. That project happened last year, 2014. They made that discovery. So now this is Cairn Energy in London talking about this discovery and what they're going to do, how they're going to develop the thing. This is a 67-page presentation, so bear with me. I'll try to go as fast as I can. If I would have made a 67-page presentation in business school, my business communications teacher would have thrown me out of class. But these guys are professionals. They got to put all kinds of stuff in there. They got disclaimers. This is my favorite slide. Slide 3, a fire evacuation plan. Who starts out their presentation with that? You know you're in a Western country with all kinds of safety standards and operating a large company to put that in the slide. So they're talking about strategy. Simon Thompson, I think he's the main guy that runs Cairn Energy. Talking about their business model, and they've got all kinds of cash, and there's a big company that's looking to figure out this discovery. They want to do a rapid appraisal of SNE1 discovery. That's the one of the wells that hit in Senegal, SNE1. And so they're saying over the last 20 years they've gone from early stage all the way through the value added business of developing these things, and they've returned $4.5 billion to their shareholders. They created value. It's not just a story. So here's the CEO, Simon Thompson. If you look up the company, he's the face of the company. They get into the exploration business, take on large positions and open range areas that they can get large positions to find material discoveries. They're going after size is what they're saying. They're not looking for little things to add up over time. They want some big ones that are going to turn the dial, and so they're going for it. That's the kind of partner you want as a little company with a big dream and no money to come test your projects. Use their money. So here's the countries they're operating in. Senegal, they're saying that's their target. That's the top of their list. They got this license 3 blocks there. They are also operating in Morocco, Mauritania, Republic of Ireland, Greenland. They're drawing some historical cartoons. They're saying 175 million years ago the Earth used to look like this. The Atlantic Ocean wasn't there. The Atlantic Ocean's new. The Pacific Ocean's the old one. The Atlantic Ocean is growing as the Pacific Ocean is shrinking. That's the seabed floor looks like it's been pulled apart, and the geology on either side of the ocean should be theoretically the same. So you got all these different plays that have been getting developed off of North and South America. Should translate over to Africa and Europe, and their plays in Northern Europe should translate over to Greenland as well. So they're trying to extrapolate off of that idea and play it in different areas. So the more technology advances and they can collect data to look at those plays, they can focus in on them. So here's a map off of the African coast where they've got their Senegal projects. They've also got a map of block C19 in Mauritania and a bunch of Moroccan stuff. I thought it'd be interesting to pull up this C19 block because that's also owned by a company followed by Prosperous Adventure as well. If you go to ProsperousAdventure.com, It's one that I've been following called Cherry Oil and Gas, and this is on Cherry Oil and Gas's website. In their Mauritania section, they've got a piece of this block C19, the same one that Cairn Energy is pointing out here. And Cherry Oil and Gas is pointing out that because Cairn is learning a lot from these Senegal plays, and there's just a new discovery that happened in southern Mauritania, right on the northern Senegal border, by Cosmos, that the play that they have in Mauritania is along that same trend. All these different geological patterns that are happening, and theirs might contain oil as well. It should be much more prospective. And so speculation is heating up along this coast as these finds are happening in other companies. And this one that I'm pointing out, C19, Cherry Oil and Gas, they've been trading at a discount to cash, currently trading at about cash values. But back to FAR and the Senegal blocks. FAR is FAR in the Australian markets. Cherry Oil and Gas trades in the London markets. So FAR has these blocks just offshore Senegal that Cairn is working, and this presentation is about. They're saying they're using all this modern 3D seismic data and drilling capability to go test these projects. We're at the forefront of technology in multiple ventures to come up with these discoveries. And so they're saying Senegal is their point of focus, and they're drilling in. The map's getting smaller, focusing in on Senegal in this presentation. And they're talking about historical work and pointing out wells that have happened in the area, but basically saying there's not much of anything happening around here except for what these guys are doing. And because of that, using new technology and going in here, there's a lot more, new technology in old areas is much more beneficial than trying to use old technology in old areas. And that's how exploration works. New technology in old areas, or even in old technology in new areas. I mean, they're doing the best of both, new technology in new areas. They're going for it. Basin opening discoveries, they're talking about, it's nothing really around here. They're making this discovery, and they think they can open up the whole area for prospectivity. They're talking up Senegal. There's Senegal's flag, doing business in Senegal. Here's somebody important in Senegal, and the main guy at Cairn shaking his hand. And here's the infrastructure in Senegal. They got the U.S. Embassy on one end, and they've got the British Embassy on the other, and a whole bunch of offices in between. IFC, World Bank, money guys you might be able to get money out of. Petrosen, so the local the government oil company, basically. Ministry of Energy, the port, customs house, Senegal Parliament. Everything happens in Dakar Peninsula. This is where it's at. So this is the finds are just off the coast of this, basically. Talking about their joint venture partnership. They start the timeline where Cairn came into FAR's projects in 2013. They farmed in as operator. Then they farmed out. They did the same thing that I like to see the little companies doing. They like to get a bigger company to use their expertise and their money to test the stuff. So FAR did that to Cairn. Cairn did that to ConocoPhillips. ConocoPhillips ended up putting a disproportionate amount of money compared to the previous two, but they probably came in with the most knowledge and the least risk, theoretically, and hit this thing hard. So altogether, this thing got drilled. The first discovery happened in Q4 2014, the second one right at the end of 2014, and off to the races. Now they think by Q4 2015 they could get back in there and start drilling some more. So here's some more pictures of the guys. They've actually been there. They shake some hands. Here's some cartoons of what they want to do. They want to collect seismic. They want to drill 3 more wells starting at the end of 2015 and keep going on to 2016, depending on what the drill program is, maybe as many as 6 wells. They say they can go from exploration all the way to exploitation, all the way through development. They want to take this thing full circle. That's exactly what you want to see your partner doing. A lot of stuff in here. More maps, more geological theoretical maps of what they believe to be happening. Drilling in, getting closer. Here's some of the guys working. Here's the opportunity. Here's where the wells were drilled, and they think they can drill a bunch more around there to come up with more. Here's some more technical details. They want to go after the SNE1 with 2 wells right around where that first well was. They want to drill 2 more wells. There's some data on the well log data. Looking forward, they want to crack this thing open. They just keep saying they're going to drill it, going to drill it, going to drill it. There's the targets they want to get into. Considerations, things they have to think about by going after these targets. I mean, deep water, deep soil underneath the water, all kinds of stuff to worry about. I think that's the same picture again. They want to take it full circle. They keep saying that again and again and again. I think we might have skipped through some of this. They're saying Q4 2015, they think they can make this happen. So they're starting to plan. I mean, they've got to do all this planning to organize all these people and all this equipment, starting with what rig to select and all the things that go into this rig. They got this rig identified as the one that be the lowest cost over their expected program. It's available that they can use. It's currently under a deal with ConocoPhillips, one of the other partners, so they can get it out of them. They're saying this JV with these 3 partners, ConocoPhillips, well, 4 partners, the government, ConocoPhillips, Cairn, and FAR, have all these great notes going for them. They've got FAR down here at the bottom of the list. They keep saying it's participated in Senegal for almost a decade. They're comparing to other projects in the area, how much time it took to go make these things happen. And since they got the license to making the discovery to the first oil production, and I think Cairn's saying we can do a really good job of this. I mean, we're turning it quick. This is a down oil market. We don't have to wait around for all kinds of stuff. Competition's low right now. Let's strike while it's cheap, and then produce while oil goes up later on someday. So they're looking to go for it. Again, exactly what you want to hear from your partner if you're the little FAR company. Here's their proposed 3D seismic survey. They're trying to figure out different targets to go after, different prospects. The more data they collect, the more prospects they've got. They want to rank those prospects with all these different variables that they're putting into place, and then hit them. So this Bellatrix one they think should be large size and high probability of geological success. And you start looking at those things in that kind of way, you can start speculating with more accuracy and get more creative at your speculations. So these large companies collect a lot more data to make these kinds of large dollar bets, and this is them mapping out the different plays that they're looking at and saying, this is what we should hit. We should go down the list. We should rank these things and whack them from number 1 on down. See how far down we can go, and they're still economic. There's more maps and more details, and talking about money. Saying the size potential, development scenarios, could cost this much and this much up ahead, this much to build it, this much to operate it. And they think it's economic in today's numbers because of the size of production out of this compared to the cost. Oil price went down, but so did the cost of a bunch of stuff to develop it. So they think it makes sense to go for it. Break-even points, all kinds of economical numbers that big companies like to come up with. Still all theoretical until they actually happen. And here's comparing this project to other projects that should be developed out in the future. They don't name the projects, but they say Goldman Sachs has a top 400 global projects analysis. If you go into there, you could probably figure out what these other projects that theoretically have lower costs are. Maybe some of those are worth speculating on too. But this is the one in front of us. It's got a little company involved that you could speculate on, or look for others like them in the area. And so that's why I'm watching this company, watching FAR and watching Cairn, and reading through stuff like this. This presentation goes on and on and on. We're on page 63 of 67. They finally get to the conclusion. Senegal summary and vision, basically saying the same thing. Another 3 to 6 wells by second half of 2016. They want to start that in end of 2015. They could have put that in slide 1. We would have been done, right? Here's who was presenting this thing. That's not me. That's the actual people from the company. I'm just going through their information. And then they go on to links to follow them. So I hope you're learning something from these kinds of updates. I look at this kind of stuff because of the other companies that are working on these projects. I like Cairn Energy too, but I'd like the little companies that can change from pennies to dollars on these kinds of discoveries, not the bigger companies that change from $1 to $2 or $10 to $20, but get a lot bigger upside shot out of it, and hopefully have smaller downside risks the way that they are priced and the way that they're structured in their deals, and theoretically someday they'll turn into the next Cairn Energy. So that's what I'm looking for, and always trying to ferret out of these kinds of presentations, and looking at their maps and looking at other companies that have maps that line up to their projects, like the C19 block of Cherry Oil and Gas that Cairn is learning a lot from, working with FAR in Senegal, and might translate some of that to the C19 block in Mauritania, or others up in Morocco that other companies are working on, like Pura Vida. There are numerous ones up and down this coast. So just trying to get to learn as much as I can about the neighborhood and what's going on there. If you're interested in more updates like this about this company or others like them, especially others like them work in the area that are smaller or more speculative, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for listening.